Transgendered, transsexual, sex change, and so on and so on. The whole issue is, well, soaked in propaganda. So we thought we'd speak to someone who was directly and personally involved. Walt Heyer joins me now from Los Angeles. Welcome to you.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm well. Let's begin, but please tell us your story.
Well, you know, as a young child, I had a grandmother who apparently I gave some impression to her that I should be a female, or I wanted to be a female. And so my grandmother, at the young age of 5, 6, or 7, made me a purple chiffon evening dress. And I was on the journey to changing genders for the next 35 years. And, you know, what I found out is that this struggle with gender issues, people just do not understand that they really evolve out of psychological or psychiatric issues. The gender issue is only a symptom of something of a much deeper problem within children, like it was with me. And I had been suffering actually from a dissociative disorder because of some sexual abuse that I had suffered, from physical abuse that I had suffered, and it came out in a way that was wanting to escape the gender I was in. So I eventually had the gender surgery at age 42 and lived as a female, Laura Jensen, for about 8 years until I realized that, you know, the gender surgery, first off, not one person has ever actually changed their gender as a result of the surgery. You have to be sort of cooperating with the madness to assume a different gender. The surgery does not change your gender, and I think that's important to understand. It's a cosmetic procedure. It does not change your gender at all.
Now, my heart goes out to you, because what your grandmother did initially, it was so irresponsible, if not abusive. But what you're saying now, I guarantee you, after people see this, there'll be complaints to human rights commissions in this country. We're not apparently allowed in broadcasting to even use this sort of language. Someone is what they say they are, and to refer to someone as a he, if they claim to be a she, you can be punished for this in Canadian broadcasting. Can we have a debate about these issues? Are we allowed to anymore?
Well, you know, we really should be allowed to tell the truth. And the truth is that people who are presenting a different gender are really not a different gender at all. It's just total madness. And I think what's happened is that political correctness is now cooperating with the madness, and people aren't getting the psychological treatment and psychological evaluations that they need. And especially with children, such as we see Dr. Spack, who at the Boston Children's Hospital is giving hormone blockers to children. And he claims that he started this procedure because of a Dutch study. And in my book, Paper Genders, I started to write about the Dutch study. And the Dutch study says you really shouldn't be doing these hormone blockers on young kids, that 61% of the people who present gender issues are actually suffering from mood disorders or identity disorders or dissociative disorders or psychiatric disorders. And what's happened now is the political correctness prevents people from actually going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist and getting the treatment they need so that they can actually avoid doing surgery or changing genders.
This is fascinating, because I've seen this in Canada, and I wanted to ask you about the U.S. and perhaps the rest of the world. So if someone goes to a psychiatrist and says, I feel that I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, I've heard psychiatrists in Canada say to me, if we say that this is a disorder and we can help you with it, we could actually lose our license. If there was a complaint made, we could be in severe trouble. Is that true in the States too?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is where, you know, Kinsey many years ago started this whole process of you know, just being crazy with gender and being crazy with homosexuality. And today it's just kind of taken over. And so people who need good psychiatric and psychological treatment cannot get it because they're taking these evaluations out of the DSM, the manual that allows the psychologist or psychiatrist to evaluate people. I had what they said was a dissociative disorder, and they said I had 13 different personalities. Now, that was only discovered because I was working as a technician, chemical technician in a psychiatric hospital, and the psychiatric doctor noticed things in my behavior that caused him to raise questions about my having multiple personalities. Yeah. So it was only a result of working in a psychiatric hospital that I was able to be evaluated properly and then to be treated properly and then to be able to return to my birth gender. And I get letters from people frequently who are returning to their birth gender. The people are going from male to female and back to male again because the surgery does not resolve the psychiatric issues that people suffer from, and the advocates won't let you get the treatment that you need so that you can avoid surgery.
You know, we have to address this again because we haven't got any time left. Will you come back on the show?
Oh, I'd be happy to do so. I'd love to. Okay,
we'll have you back on, but I guarantee there'll be repercussions, even the fact that we have dared in Canada to have this interview. Thank you for your courage, and thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Michael.